So my first topic, I want to talk about something that's personally has to do with me. I used to be an Uber driver, and let me tell you something about that company. It is garbage. It is garbage. You literally, let me tell you some experience I had. So I did it for almost 8 years, and this is the same for Lyft, so it's both of them. But I want to tell you how, first of all, how they danger our lives, right? They literally tell us that as an Uber driver, our own personal car, independent contractors, we're not allowed to carry any guns with us. So, knowing us doing it in dangerous cities like Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, etc., you know it's very dangerous doing it, especially in the city at night. So what they're telling us is we're not allowed to have a carry-on permit, right? So if someone gets in the car and wants to rob you with a gun, you have no choice but to give him whatever he wants. If he threatens you and trying to shoot you, you can't do anything about it. I think that's very, very dangerous, and I don't agree with it, right? And then you have to deal with so much stuff. You have to deal with that safety. You have to deal with people. You have to deal with their stupid stuff they always send you, dumb stuff. Like for example, they gave me a couple weeks ago. They gave me a trip to go from where I'm located to New York City, which is about 250 miles, 4 hours. So they were trying to give me $140 to go up to New York City. Now think about this. It takes about $60 on gas just to go from here to New York City, right? 140 minus 60, that's $80, right? Sounds good, I guess, to some people. But you also got to realize when you're going up to New York, yes, the person that's riding up to New York pays for the tolls. But when you're coming back, you got to pay for your own tolls, right? It's at least $50 worth of tolls, right? So if you take 80 minus 50, you get $30 left, right? So you just did a round trip of almost 500 miles, 8 hours for $30 to come back. Now tell me if that makes sense. Tell me if that makes any sense. $30 for 8 hours and almost 500 miles, right? So if we did the math, and you end up with $30 for 8 hours, that's $3.75 an hour. $3.75 an hour. Now, how does that make any sense? Right? Like, this people literally give us trips that are worth $2. $2 freaking dollars. Right? $2. Do they really expect people to live on $2 trips, $3 trips, $4 trips? You know? And what they're doing is they love having this flux of immigration coming to the United States. Why? Because you can get a driver license, right? And all you need is a driver license to work for Lyft and Uber. So they increase the price. People are paying 2-3 times more than they paid before, and then they turn around and pay the driver 3-4 times less than they used to pay them before. So they figured that if we can get immigrants from Mexico, from Venezuela, from Honduras, Haiti, we can get them from Africa. It doesn't matter where we get them from, as long as they're here. $3-4 an hour, that's plenty of money to them, right? That's plenty of money to them. Even if they don't have a car, we'll literally give them a car. Yeah, we'll charge them $300-400. A Tesla is around $500 a week, right? And then you got some companies like Get Around, they're saying, oh, you can get a car as low as $90 a day. $90 a day, excluding taxes. I mean, how much do they think Uber and Lyft drivers are making? It's mind-boggling. And then you have to deal with passengers. You have some people who come in drunk, who puke all over your carpet, puke all over your back seat. You have people who slam the hell out of your door. You have people who sit in the back and for some reason they decide, oh, let's make the back as a kitchen table and just start eating fried chicken, making your whole car smell like chicken for the rest of the day. You got people who bring in pets and lie to you and say they're emotionally supportive pets and make your whole cloth hairy, and then you have to spend an hour or 30 minutes cleaning that. You know, you have some people that order Uber X, which is for 4 people, right? 3 in the back, one in the front. 4 people, right? You got them ordering Uber X, and then there's 5, 6 of them. And what pisses me off is literally you have some people who order Uber or Lyft for their 5, 6, 7-year-olds. I literally, many times I go to a house, a 5, 6-year-old comes out with his backpack, going to school. You're waiting for their parents never shows up, right? They stay on their phone and tell them, oh, stay on the phone until you get there. Like, what type of responsible parenting is this? Stay on the phone till you get there? You don't even have time to take your kid to school, so you're going to put him in a stranger car and expect everything goes well? Do they not realize Lyft, you have to be 18 years old to ride? And with Uber, you had to be 18. Now they have a teen account, which is 13 and up, which is a disaster. I will never pick up anyone that's under 18, right? Because it is a disaster. You're picking someone's child, especially now kids. Kids are out of control nowadays. You know, they have no respect for anyone. So imagine picking up a bunch of teenagers and taking them to the store, taking them to school, taking them to whatever you got to take them. You know, that's extra risk you're doing. You know, and these people are charging 3-4 times the price because what? It's raining outside. Oh, okay. So this trip is 3 times more now. The driver may get $1 extra. You know, they're screwing people up. And the veterans now are learning is, hey, you know what? We're independent contractors. We don't need to freaking go by you rate. I'll go pick up that person. Hey, you know, they're giving me $10 for this. You know, how much you're paying? 20? You know what? $15. You know, you can pay me on Cash App or something else. You know, and Uber caught up to it, and the excuse they use is, oh, do not do do not do rides off the platform because one, it's dangerous. Okay, it's dangerous. So how is it any different between me picking up someone on Uber and me picking up someone, you know, without doing Uber? You know, they have no safety. Literally one time I got to an accident. I was doing Lyft, got to an accident. They have an emergency button. I click on the emergency button, tell her, hey, I had an accident, right? She literally says, oh, we'll send help your way. Don't worry, we'll send help your way, right? 20 minutes pass by, she's going to message me saying, oh, sorry, we can't reach the police, so you have to call them yourself. Really? What if I got an accident and I passed out? What if I'm like, you know, passed out and I can't call myself? You know? Like, what's the point of having an emergency button if they're going to come back to you and be like, oh, yeah, by the way, it's we can't really do anything for you, so you might want to call the emergency yourself. Like, these apps are out of control, man. I don't understand how they still in business, really. Like, Lyft just got fined recently because they lied to people about, they were hyping the price, saying that, oh, in San Francisco, you can make $42 an hour. They realized that was a lie. They'll say, oh, in Texas, you can make $35. So they were tricking people thinking that they're going to make $35, $40 an hour. And then they lied about it. When people were working, where it says, oh, you can make $40 an hour, they realized they were only making $10 an hour or $12 an hour, right? So they were using fake advertisement to attract all these drivers, and then the drivers get here, they work, and they realize, wait a minute, I'm not making shit. You know, so they got sued, and the government sued them, and I think they awarded them about, like, they settled for like $2.5 million because they were using fake advertising, telling drivers, oh, this is how much you make. And then when they said $40 an hour, they realized they were talking about like that 1% that was making, you know, some decent money plus bonuses and tips and everything. That's what concluded $40 an hour, right? So it's It's mind-boggling. And I think what happened if Trump gets in office and gets rid of a lot of like those illegal immigrants, I think the prices will actually get higher because now, now you have less people doing Uber and Lyft, less people driving. I know Uber partnered with Waymo, or they partnered with someone to do like rideless rides, but how many people are comfortable getting into a car that has nobody driving it except by a computer? Like some roads that I have seen, there's no way a self-driving car can drive through there. There's potholes. There's so much stuff in the way. You know what I mean? And plus, there's a lot of danger to autonomous cars. I mean, think about it. I mean, anything that's connected to the internet can be hacked, right? So imagine you're in a car and it's driving by itself, and then you get a notification saying, hey, I have hacked your ride, and for me to stop this car, you have to pay me this amount or I'll crash it. Imagine the serious danger you will be in. And this self-driving cars, it might work in 200 years, but I can tell you we don't have the roads for it right now. I know they're doing it somewhere in Arizona or something. It's just like in a little small area. But expand it to the East Coast and where the roads are even worse with potholes and stuff, it's not going to go that far. You're going to have a lot of lawsuits on your hand. But anyways, just something I want to get out of my head. So, yeah, Uber and Lyft is definitely screwing drivers up. Just so you know, the money you pay them, just remember, it's not going to the driver. That $40 you paid for a 10-mile trip, it's not going for the driver's not making $40. The driver may make $13, $14. Uber is keeping 20, 30 foot. Actually, Uber used to keep about 20%, 15%. Now they're keeping 40, 50, 60. Some trip I have they kept 70, 80%. Another example, I took a lady up the street, right? She paid $28. I seen it. When she left, I looked at the way bill. She paid $28. I got $7.82. $7.82. Think about that.